Woolwich Boys tells the story of a young man who embarks on a life of 419 fraud in Woolwich's Nigerian community. In a moment, we'll chat to the director and one of the stars, but first, let's take a look at the film.
Collect the money.
Okay. My family now.
All right.
All right, now I'm joined by Anthony Abuah, who's the director of Woolwich Boys, and actor Odunuga, who plays TJ in the film. Thanks so much for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Anthony, let's start with you. More about the film, and it's obviously based on true events.
Yeah. Well, the film is based on people who... I'll give you a little bit of background on myself. Basically, I grew up sort of in Nigeria and in the UK, in Woolwich. And pretty much in Woolwich, you had a lot of people going and doing a lot of fraud crime around the early 2000s. And basically, the film is about those guys and what they did. So the film, it follows Wale, who's the main character. He comes to the UK and basically he's trying to, you know, make some money, and he hooks up with TJ. And basically, they start doing it, and it doesn't really... I won't spoil it for you, but it doesn't really end well.
Yeah. All right, so Ade, what about you? I mean, obviously, one of the things that was said in many of the reviews, it was new talent.
Yeah.
When you saw the script, how did you know this was the role for you?
The script was very intriguing from the beginning. It was, as soon as I read it and I read my part, I thought to myself that, okay, this is something that I can really sink my teeth into. It was different to what I was used to, because I come from a background of theatre. So all the stuff I've done is doing theatre related. So this was actually my first feature movie. So it was a big transition rather, from being live on stage doing things to actually being in front of the camera and, you know, takes and, you know, yeah, it was good.
So, you know what's interesting for me is that, you know, some people could watch this film and say, oh, you're making a generalized negative statement about Nigerians and how they operate, right? So, tell me how you feel about that.
Well, that's the same thing as saying Goodfellas or Godfather is a generalized view of Italians.
Yeah.
This is something that happens. I think pretty much most people in the UK have got an email from someone,
yeah,
you know, who said, oh, I've got this money for you, it's in Nigeria, just pay this money and we'll transfer. You know, it happens. So everybody's experienced it. But what the film actually does is it tries to explain why some people get into it. Because these are human beings at the end of the day. They've got stories. So that's what we're doing, is telling the story.
All right, so Ade, I mean, since you play one of the guys here, tell us why people get involved in this.
People get involved in 419 for various reasons. Some people get in it because of the fast life. They just want to make quick money. Some other people get into it because of the lifestyle. You know, the lifestyle of 419 is very active. It's very on demand. You know, you're always doing different things. You're always in the spotlight. And just, I guess, the adrenaline of that, making so much money, as well as being in the limelight, is, you know, it's kind of a no-brainer for some people.
And can I just make a point as well? Because the film is set in early 2000s. You have to bear in mind that the early 2000s in Nigeria, there were a lot of university strikes. So a lot of these young guys were out of work, out of education in Nigeria. They were coming to the UK, and they were really just trying to find money to pay for their education. And so, you know, fraud was one of the ways. It's not. I'm not glamorizing it or anything. I'm saying it's right, but that's one way that people use to try and get themselves out of poverty.
So, just looking at some of the behind-the-scenes footage there, you know, how was it actually making this movie in Woolwich?
It was hard.
Yeah,
Why was it hard?
Listen, making a film, period, is hard. But we had no money at the beginning. In fact, shout out to my father-in-law, actually. He's probably watching. He's the one who put up the first bit of money for us to make the film.
Yeah.
And we were literally piecemealing it as we went along. It was hard. It was really hard. But shooting in Woolwich, the people loved it. The people around were really helpful. Woolwich is this is pre... what's the name? Drummer League Rugby.
Yeah.
This is a few years before that. So you know, the atmosphere was a little bit less hostile to you know. Sometimes now I think people are a little bit apprehensive about anything going on there.
That's right.
But at the time it was great, and we shot all over London. You know, and people were really. We had a great team of people.
Yeah.
Well, Ade, what do you think about the reaction to this movie? What do you think it's going to be once it actually goes on television in the UK?
Okay, the reaction of the movie, for me, I know this for a fact. I mean, based on the feedback I've got from the trailer, people are very, people are keen to see how we've interpreted the whole 419 you know, situation.
Yeah.
Because obviously, especially being growing up, you know, within the London community, everybody knows about it. And so we actually know the realism of what it actually is. Now, can we portray that within the movie? Yes, we have. So, and that's what's gonna be the climax for people to see the beginning, the middle, and the end. And for those that actually don't know about 419, this will kind of give them a 101 on how it kind of is.
Let me just make a point. There's never been a movie made about 419 fraud crime.
Yeah.
Never. So this is the only film that you will be able to see in detail what these guys actually do and the kind of lifestyles that they live. And bearing in mind, this took place 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
now, you know, Nollywood has a reputation of not coming up with good, high-quality films. Tell me you're knocking that down.
Well, I don't know what makes a film Nollywood in the first place. I think there's the perception which you make a film with Nigerians in it and it's Nollywood, and then there's the perception which is anything that's you know, got, you know, to name a few actors, Genevieve and Naji is Nollywood. We're not really interested in Nollywood at the moment. Nollywood is great, but we're making a film, period.
Yeah.
And I guess Nollywood itself is interesting, but this film is not. You know, we're not trying to compete with anybody in Nollywood. They make great stuff, and we make great stuff over here, and that's what we're trying to do.
All right, so tell us when will it start airing and where?
It's going to be airing London Live this Saturday, midnight, channel 117 on Sky, and Freeview channel 8, which is London Live.
Yeah, all right. Ade, now, when we actually sit down to watch this at midnight, I'll try my best to.
Or you can record it.
Yeah. Do you tell me, what do you think is going to be the main thing that you'll take away from this entire experience?
What am I going to take away?
Your performance.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'm very confident in what I do, and I believe in myself a lot. And for me to be able to be in a position where something I've done is going to be shown nationally, for me, that in itself is already a big achievement for me. And being an up-and-coming actor, trying to make a statement for myself, I feel like this movie has done that for me. And the response we're going to get back from it, I mean, I'm a believer that the response will be nothing but positive. So for me, I'm ecstatic, man.
All right, so Anthony, last word to you. Why should people watch this?
You must watch this film simply because the performances are amazing. And I have to shout out Lateef Lovejoy, who's in the film, and Stanley Chinoso, who's in the film. We've also got former Miss Nigeria UK, Chichi Okafor. The performances are amazing. The film is entirely in Pidgin English and Yoruba.
Yeah.
And that's something which you don't really see in mainstream, period. So it's interesting. You get to learn a new dialect, and you also get to see great performances and find out about a story that you never thought existed.
All right, thanks very much for your time, Anthony Abuah and Ade Odunuga. Hope I got that right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.